G'day viewers, my name is Michael and welcome back to SingleRacer. And now if you can bear with me in this intro, I want to tell you a quick story, but that's because it's leading up to a very specific point. And that is that essentially I'm a man of the 70s, meaning that was my favourite era, the one I connected with the most. And so if we're talking music, we're talking very early Van Halen, the absolutely brilliant Boston album, and in Australia, one of the albums that I still consider today to be in my top 10 albums of all time, and it was called Skyhook's Living in the 70s. And if we're talking fashion, of course we're talking about those 12-inch wide flared pants. They were absolutely incredible. We're talking Miller Western shirts, and that fantastic thing that I actually never owned, the Starsky and Hutch knitted jacket that was basically all white with the two black stripes on the arms. I really wished I had that jacket. And of course, platform shoes that were almost 12 inches high. Well, not quite that high, but yeah, definitely I owned a pair that was about 4 or 5 inches high. And so finally, if we're talking cars, especially in Australia, we're talking about massive V8s, and my three favourite words from the 70s, chrome, chrome and more chrome. And I can definitely say that I've had at least a few cars that had chrome mags, chrome bumpers and even chrome door handles. I just love chrome. And so that leads me up perfectly to the reason why I'm doing this video a new channel of the month. And it's because it's not really new. It's one of the first 3 channels I ever got connected with when I started my own channel. So as you can see here, I call them the 3 amigos. So we're talking Alex over at the Extra Mile, who's on a bit of a hiatus as he literally changes his whole life, job, house, everything, getting reset up. We're talking the brilliant Mike Smith over at Sim Racing 604, and good old HumbleGeorge, which I really connected to in the very early stages of my own channel. And so the reason for this Channel of the Month feature is twofold. One, because I've never done it on his channel before, and secondly, I feel that he's gone to another level by not only figuring out how to do lighting in cars of almost anything that he can access within the car. So I'm talking lights, of course, but also even things like controls and the stitching of the car, anything he chooses to light up. But the main thing is he's learnt how to chrome the wheels or the mags of a car, and to me they just look brilliant. And so to sum up, who is this video aimed for? Well, it's aimed at the people that are interested in amateur modding. Now, I don't think it's an offence to HumbleGeorge. I don't think he'd call himself a professional because he's learning on the go, but he's made leaps and bounds, especially in this last year. So those people that have an interest in amateur modding should subscribe to his channel to pick up any tips along the way as he improves himself. And so what I'm going to do is feature the latest 3 cars that he's done. Absolutely tremendous and very varied in their specific features and design and everything like that. So they're quite varied. But I'll be doing a video on each car. But at the same time, I want to be fair and, like all reviewers, give a couple of negatives. They're not really negatives, they're just more for the amateur modders to say this is what you get, because he doesn't know everything at this stage. So you get some bad with the good, but it's essentially the good that I want to promote. And the first negative I think is pretty obvious, and that is that his channel comes with an AO warning. Warning, warning, warning. I mean, you have to accept swearing. He can't seem to stop himself, and especially when he gets excited in some of his race videos, the the F word comes out left, right and centre. So luckily most of us are male. You know, I do hope females get more into sim racing, but if you are a female or a male that doesn't like swearing, maybe the channel's not for you, but you have to accept the swearing as part of the channel. And so now let's head over in car to show you a couple of minor negatives. They're more frustrations than negatives, but they can be worked around. So I just want to give a balanced overview of the channel. Okay folks, so the first negative is not really Humble's fault. It's more my own, because I'm so used to driving in pro mode, meaning all the aids turned off, everything like that. And part of my signature when I do every video is I always turn the wheel left and right to check the steering as a, you know, just as a routine, and I rev 3 times. But what I noticed was as soon as I did it here, the engine blew. And that's because I have 100% damage on. And Humble must have got a sixth sense, because he messaged me saying that he races his cars at 300, 400, 500 kilometers an hour, and he couldn't possibly do that with damage at 100%. He just couldn't drive the thing. So he said, make sure you have damage off. And so I'm sure that if you request any particular car that you see on Humble's channels, I'm sure that he would try his best to give it to you. But you'd need to come over here where I have Pro, you click on the 3 dots and make sure you have mechanical damage from where I have it at 100% and switch it all the way off. And now let's go back and see the result. And so now we're back again with damage off, which means now I can rev the car and the engine doesn't blow. But here's the only other slight negative, and it's because Humble chooses himself to modify the cars so they're extremely high performance. You know, as I mentioned, 300, 400, 500 kilometers an hour cars. But the trouble is, in order to do that, he has to change the engine revs. And so a negative, and this includes probably his closest sim racing friend is Jody Parks, and even Jody talks about the frustration where you rev the car and the engine sound cuts out a little bit, and you'll see that in the replay. But let me show you in more detail in this next car. And so now we're in my special edition SingleRacer livery Lotus 49, and this is an example where Jody and I get a bit frustrated, only because Humble ups the power so much that he's not sure how to say open up the rev range. So what you get is you get here where it cuts out up to a certain point, but only because it has so much power. And so, you know, you've got to work within that limit of just revving it to that point and try and change before the engine sound cuts out. But the reason that I say all these negatives is because the positives are so good. Is if you're another amateur modder and you want to bounce off ideas, is subscribe to HumbleGeorge, and you can all move forward together, all learn, share tips, things like that, and his cars will get better and better. So now let me show you the reason for this whole video in those 3 cars in the showroom and how brilliant to my eyes they look. Okay folks, so the first car I want to feature was a car I drove a few videos back called the Donckervoort, I think D8 from memory, but it's quite an aggressive looking car already, but Humble took a real liking to this car, and the expression that we all use is he wanted to humbleize it in his own way. And one thing that he really likes is lots of scoops. That's sort of the classic 70s feature as well. So you can see here from the lights, you know, the lights are pretty standard, and he has a way of accessing all the bits in the car to make the lights look even more incredible. So let's take a look at that now. And so now we have the Humblized HumbleGeorge version, where not only do we have these incredible mag wheels, just looks absolutely awesome in my opinion, but this souped up car also has the extra lighting where he unpacks the car and selects particular parts to light up. Now, of course, this is naturally personal preference, but when I turn the lights on here, I love how the exhausts look like they're almost glowing. Now, it's not red, of course, but it still looks hot to me, as in temperature wise. It just looks glowing hot, and I just think it looks absolutely fantastic with the lights. If I turn them on and off, you can see just the incredible work that he's done. And to me, although the scoops are maybe a little overdone for my taste, that's good old HumbleGeorge's liking, but I still think it looks terrific, even with the chrome on the actual back scoop there. That looks quite amazing as well. So great work that he's done here. Now let's look at the other two cars. And so now we come to arguably the pinnacle of Humble's work. The car he considers one of the best in his collection, what he's done with the car. And where the other car was maybe a little over the top and a little crazy, this just to me screams mean. This is the Ford Mustang Shelby Super Snake, and just the way he's done the wheels here just looks absolutely fantastic. He, as in HumbleGeorge, has done the carbon fibre bonnet there, just absolutely incredible. The Humblized version just looks so fantastic, and I just think this looks incredible too. If I turn the lights on, they're subtle. You've got, see how he's highlighted the Shelby, so he unpacks the car, picks the particular bits and then lights them up as you go around. Very subtle on this one, even including the Shelby here on the side. So this is what I mean by amateur modders. If you're wanting to learn how to do this stuff, I highly recommend his channel, and you can grow together and just feed off each other and get tips and tricks as you share bits of information. So this to me is incredible. But here we come to another slight negative, and it's only a negative, again, it's not really a negative against Humble, but more myself, because I'm struggling for space. And part of that is because I have well over 500 mods in Assetto Corsa because of my channel, of course, but also because I just love the cars. So what happens is he takes, say, a Kunos car and unpacks it using a particular bit of software, and he shows you how to do that. But the trouble is then, by changing all this thing, is it gets quite large. And as an example, this unpacked in my Assetto Corsa directory is 3.5 gig. Now that's a lot of space when the average good car is say 300 to 500 meg. So to have 3.5 gig is a lot, and I think the next phase in his development is if he can figure out how to reverse engineer that and pack it all back so it still looks the same on track and still has all the same features, but is kind of zipped up in reverse, which he still doesn't quite know how to do yet. So that's what I mean by a work in progress. So, but this to me looks stunning. And now let's look at the car that he specifically did for me. And this is it, folks. So this is the car that was done specifically for me by HumbleGeorge, the special edition SingleRacer version. And what he's done is he's given me two new versions, because I said to him, now that you know how to do chroming, can you chrome the wheels of the version you did before? And he says, sure, absolutely. So this is it with the chromed wheels. Now this is the second version, and this is another reason why I say, if you like the channel, please subscribe, because you don't have to have HumbleGeorge's extreme versions, meaning you don't have to have a car that goes 3, 4, 500 kilometers an hour, or you don't have to have that 3.5 gig type car. All you need to do is to watch the channel for a while to figure out how he does the skins, and then simply, like I did, apply the skin to either the Kunos car or another mod of the same car, and you get all the benefits of the skin, but the car stays the same. So it's the same handling, the same engine, the same revs, everything's the same as Kunos meant it to be, just the skin's different. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at the second version that he gave me, where he's done lighting on the car. And when I thought lighting, I'm thinking, stupid idiot me, thinking he's put headlights on the car. And I said, well, that'll never work on an F1 style open wheeler car. But the way he did it was fantastic. So if I turn the lights on now, he's put the lights working there in the dash, absolutely brilliant. But he's also put, if I can come back here enough, put lights inside. So that to me is a great, or looks fantastic on the road, especially when you race it at night. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show the 3 cars in very short videos or short tracks, just to show each one off. And I'll sign out now, but check these cars out. They look so absolutely incredible. And like I said, even though there's a few downsides to where he's at the moment, he can only get better as he learns all these things. So if you're into amateur modding and feel like taking the journey along with him, and maybe even helping him out with a couple of things that he doesn't know how to do, like repacking the cars, check the channel out and see if it's something you'd be interested in. So this is Michael signing out now for SingleRacer. I'll catch you next time. See you later. And let's feature these 3 cars on the track. Okay folks, so as we go for a flying lap in the dark, let's turn the lights on and check out those dials that HumbleGeorge has done. Really quite spectacular. Are you ready, SingleRacer? Yep. And he's even put the headers on as lights when you put the brakes on. So quite incredible. Let's check out the flames shooting at the back there. Oh, it looks amazing. But let's go for a flying lap of Monza 66 road course in the dark. And when you've never done this in a Formula car like this, an open wheeler car, it is quite an amazing experience, especially because so much of the track is not lit up. So you truly have that feeling like you're driving in the pitch black night. And the trouble is I'm looking for my brake points so I know where they are when I see them, but here I kind of have to almost guess where they are because they come on to you so quickly. And the feeling truly is that if anyone has driven in the pitch black dark, this is truly quite a realistic feeling. As we search for the corner here, just feeling my way in the dark, it's quite amazing there, and we've got a little bit of lighting in the stands there. But this should be amazing because this is my favourite bit, going under the bridge here as the light from the single light lights up under the bridge. Now here again, where's the braking point? I'm not quite sure. As I search for the corner. Oh, look at that sky. I mean, talk about soul and shaders patch having completely changed what was already a fantastic game. As I come in here, I think I've come in too hot. Yeah, I've missed my braking point again just because I couldn't see it properly. But what an experience. This thing between HumbleGeorge's Humblized mod here and the way the game has evolved is just truly incredible. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot completely about that fence was there. But as we call it a day, or call it a night I should say, check out how clearly you can see into that building. So thank you HumbleGeorge, thank you Soul, thank you Shaders Patch for just breathing so much new life into Assetto Corsa, a game that was already outstanding. So this is Michael signing out for SingleRacer. I'll catch you next time, see you later, and I'll do a proper lap in this car in the daytime with the chrome wheels. It just looks absolutely spectacular. Okay, see ya.